Mm, okay.
We're already in YouTube. That's exciting.
Yes, it is exciting. Just give me 1 second only. This is okay. Perfect. Yes, we are live on YouTube. Dear friends, welcome to the School of Body Language in Public Speaking. And today with my friend, with coach Jorge Carrillo from Mexico, we are revealing the gateways of success. But before we start about all the gateways and the approach that we're going to address today, this is part 2 of Gateways of Success. We're going to discuss what is success. So, Jorge, what is success for you?
Oh, hello, Roxani, and nice to see you again. And to our audience, whether they are watching this video live or they can watch it later in our channels, I'm very happy to be here. Thanks for the invitation. Well, this is a very interesting subject because as we were talking about this idea, we all have a different idea or notion of what success means in our lives, or how is it that we feel successful in relation to how we perform in life, no? Whether it is looking to meet our goals, the way we relate with the world around, or how I feel about myself. So the concept of success depends on many subjective conditions according to each one of us. And the first thing I think it's we all have the idea of success, but certainly success is not only from my own understanding, not only achieving my goals or be able to navigate in the challenges of everyday life, to be successfully able to meet my challenges, but also the way I feel about myself. What is it that I am experiencing at the time, whether it gives me the proper motivation or drivers to be able to attain the success I want in a healthy, organic way, or maybe I'm striving, maybe it's a lot of effort to be invested in achieving success, and I might meet my goals. Nevertheless, the way I feel about myself or the energy I invested, it's draining, it's tiring. So we all have a different way of experiencing success in our own lives. And I think the first important aspect that we need to address is to expand our understanding of success, because this will allow me to be more clear on what kind of success I want to have in my life. It doesn't matter if it's financial, it is in the way I relate with people, if it's in the way I support my family. No, we have to explore, we have to expand our understanding, to broaden our mind maps on success. And I think that's an important value that we add to our lives when we're looking to meet our goals.
Exactly, I agree with you. So we have to have clarity about what is success for us. For me, it is like it's time, it's going accordingly to Maslow pyramid. We can make a connection here because for us, maybe for a person, it's in the beginning has to do and connect with their needs, the biological needs, all the needs that the person has to survive and to accomplish. And then slowly, by getting the ladder up of the Maslow, you have different needs and different targets and goals. But your perspective about the emotional state and how you're feeling, and if success brings energy, stress, anxiety from one hand, and if success for another person, it is this accomplishment, this calmness, another type, the family, the friends, then yes, we have to make, there is a very big aspect, the success itself. So we have to be clear what it is for us, success means, and what success brings in the life. Maybe if we want big, great success, and this needs observe energy, and this is tired and draining, as you have said before, then we might change. But we have to think to be conscious, and then to decide what really it's in with 100% incongruous with ourselves. So what is for you, Jorge? Or maybe
Well,
what was success when you were young?
oh, that's a very interesting question. But first, let me refer to something that you just pointed out, which is the Maslow pyramid. Maybe the viewers are not familiar with the Maslow hierarchy of needs. And it's very interesting because it gives us a frame of reference on how we can integrally build up our ability to meet our basic fundamental needs. And it is very interesting because we seldom have blind spots on our understanding. Uh, According to Maslow, there is a hierarchy of needs. And sometimes I'm not very mindful on what that hierarchy entails and how that affects my life. I have this metaphor. It's like sometimes placing a ladder onto a wall and climbing that ladder only to find out that we place the ladder in the wrong place. It should be in a different wall. So we invested in a different direction. We invested a lot of effort, and eventually we found out that something is missing in life. And I think that is very challenging to some people, because then it comes to the nature on how the body signals, the emotional experience, because emotion needs information, allows me to perceive, to appreciate different signals, which will tell me if I am going in the right direction, whether that ladder is in the right place and I'm climbing it properly or not. So it goes to in relation with my emotions, because emotions gives me that particular sense of information to make corrections in life. Maybe I need to address a traumatic experience from the past. Maybe I need to enhance my understanding, my knowledge about the subject. Maybe I need to be more mindful on how I relate to the world. So it is very important that those blind spots can be covered in order to have a holistic view. And when I say holistic, it's because we have a complete perspective of things. When we attain the right perspective, everything falls into place, emotions are released, and I reach a state of peace, of enjoyment, and of clarity, which is very important. I personally, we all have these limitations in life. And in my experience, it has been very interesting, because the first idea of success I had in my life was because I had the influence of the world around. I had the fortune to have a wonderful parental experience. Both my parents were magnificent persons. My father being a role model for me, he had a lot of influence on what would be a possible way of success, no? So the first thing was to model someone who was exemplar. We all have all those role models. And that is an interesting driving force, according to our parents, our upbringing. In my case, it gave me the ability to navigate in different environments in order to learn a lot about the world around. So my map of the world was expanding extensively and very fast. And then I realized that, yeah, maybe my father was a good role model, but the notion of success was not to copy my father. I would have to find my own path in life. So I think the first experience of success I had was to release myself from this field of influence and be able to exit this comfort zone, these mind boxes, and explore and a world that it was unknown. It was a bit mysterious. So that took me to be a very inquisitive person. Of course, this inquisitiveness sometimes crashes into a wall because
Yes,
curiosity kills the cat, as they
yes.
say. So from time to time, one falls into a particular place which is very insightful, but very challenging as well. So I had a couple of experiences in my life in which success meant to transcend those limited places, those dark places. In sometimes I've been young, I was a young rebel person as well, and sometimes that takes a toll. So another way of experiencing my self-success was being able to have a self-reference, a self-awareness on where was I at that certain points, and being able to challenge myself into a different state of being. And that was when I experienced meditation and spiritual practices, which were very needed in that particular stage of my life, and brought me the opportunity to learn about human development, psychology, eventually coaching. So this trajectory in life has been very, very interesting. But as I can recall, my idea of success was not very clear until a few years ago, because we need a sense of maturity. And I think that it is something that people will have to be very, very aware of. Mature people is the one, and this is where I define success, is the one which is not conditioned by the unresolved aspects of younger stages in life. We all carry an inner child, if you may. No, it's very common to say my inner child needs to be pampered, and this expression, it's a platitude, but it is true to some extent, because we need to make those childish structures of mind to be able to release themselves from the memories that keep them stuck at that age where something happened. Sometimes we have, and we can see the people, the world around, people who behave in a childish manner, people who are still in need to be supported as if they were children. The most obvious way is someone who smokes and it's replicating the pacifier as a kid. No, it's an oral fixation. So we all need to be aware, and this is very important for our viewers to contemplate. We all need to be aware of those immature aspects of ourselves, and be able to release the structures that hold them in place, enable for them to begin to grow up and meet those aspects into the person I am today in my present age. This means that this maturity comes forth with the flexibility, the creativity, the resilience of a younger kid. Children by nature are resilient, creative, joyful, no, very light-hearted. We need to be mature, but with that essence in our souls. So for me, that's the experience of success. And if this can broaden the understanding of success to our viewers, I think this is a very good way to make the best of this particular roundtable.
Exactly. And I have two questions and I will share with you. One point, it is, I like the point about how, for me personally, success, it is to find what is my blind spot, what is my the way that I'm not still so mature in some areas of my life, and to try to find out to release this. For me, this is success. When I release, when I find the way, when I try, when I make the effort during the process, because it's difficult, for me, this is success. That I take the courage to do, to make the process and the effort. I like one thing, because at the beginning you say emotions are information. I keep this. And then I kept the other part that you said, that we have to go outside the comfort zone, but also comfort zone creates emotions, creates information. How we are going to recognize what the emotion and feeling is, let's say, the correct one, if I may say, that it's not the comfort zone, that it is the restriction to stay at the same table, at the same situation, to not make any change. How I recognize which emotion to follow?
Well, that's an interesting comparison, because what's the difference between an emotion and a feeling?
The difference it is, the emotion and the feeling. The emotion is more deep. It is the real essence of situation that our body experience. The feeling, I think it's coming. Maybe we can make it. We can add also the external environment somehow. This is how I have it in my mind, but maybe I'm not correct.
No, it's true. It's true. I would just add up to this idea that emotions, it's something that happens in the moment, and feelings, it's an emotion which has rooted in our lives. So when I have a feeling of confidence, it's something that it's deeply rooted in my experience, and I can rely on confidence being a strength in my life. If I feel sad because something happened and it broke my heart in a moment, that I will have to process that emotion because it's what comes in the moment. But if I live with this feeling of sadness in my life, it is something that has been built up upon a different number of experiences of sadness, to the point that sadness rooted in my own life. No? And so we can see, if I live with fear, fear gets to turn into a feeling. So the feeling that runs our lives are need to be outrooted. No? So we need to be very clear that the clarity comes in parallel, or depends, better said, depends on how I address my limiting feelings. The limiting feelings that I have, fear, shame, guilt, sadness, uh, uncertainty, are not the good drivers in life, certainly are not good motivators. I can run my life with these feelings, trying to reach my goals, but reaching the goals with this set of, internal aspects of self might not be very successful, because at the end, when I reach my goal, I might be depressed, I might be burnt out, I might be conflicted with the world around, with the people I love. So probably I might reach, let's say, a financial goal, but in the way to that successful experience, it wasn't very enjoyable, no? So there is this paradox. The path to the goal, it's the goal itself. So we have to make the present moment the goal of our success, no? And this is very, very important. If we are leaders in our life, this will give us the authenticity to be compelling leaders, charismatic leaders in the good sense, because it's magnetic, it's attractive. People are attracted to these people who are feeling healthy, no, balanced, clear in their communications, no, the way they express themselves, the micro expressions that they project into the world around are soft, are coherent. And it is very important to understand that, because it is a spiritual goal, no? So back, if we are leaders, this will give me a good way of developing a team, but also developing a family, and certainly to guide myself in life. The best decisions will be made with the best set of feelings rather than the limiting ones. So as you can see, the way of success, it's an interesting approach to a higher state of being.
Exactly. I like it also. It's good now to share to the viewers again, to share the Albert Mehrabian rule, emotional rule, that is the liking rule, that it is about the 7, the 38, and the 55. So this is because you mentioned about coherence, I want, and micro expressions. So Albert Mehrabian, he made his experiments and his research, and he became to the liking rule. What does it mean? It means that the words that we are expressing, its value deep when we share what I like and what I don't like only at this situation, the liking situation. I like, for example, Chinese food. And I share with Jorge, oh, Jorge, we go to this restaurant and I like Chinese food. And then I make the expression, yes, I like the Chinese food. That it's the discussed expression. It's not coherence, the verbal and the non-verbal, there is no coherence. That means what Coach Jorge said when he made about coherence. We have to have only balance, the verbal and the non-verbal. And this is the words, the face, and the tonality of the voice. This is the triangle. When this is the rule of liking, it doesn't apply to all communication, only to this particular field, but I wanted to share with our viewers in order to have also this information. What about it's very good that you make the separation about the feelings that are motivate, make the encouragement, and we have and lead us to a life balance, to small to some smooth and follow our harmony inside in our emotional state, and the goals. And when we have been motivated and we stressed and we have this anxiety and we push hard and we forget about the other parts of our lives. This is too different. Both of them, let's say, both people can succeed, both of them can reach the same goal, but it is the life balance, it is the other parts of ourselves that we ignore and we are blind and we put them aside in order to achieve the goal. This is one very strong difference. And then each one of us has to think what is the life that they want and they want to do for themselves. And now, how can we start recognizing? Let's go to the field of the bodily sensations. That is the information, because the information as emotion and feelings, it comes through bodily sensations. We are the observers right now. So let's share some tips and advices in order for people to recognize emotional information, bodily sensations.
Well, this comes to the ability to use certain skill sets in order to be more. I call this discipline human signals intelligence rather than emotional intelligence and physical intelligence and so many aspects of intelligence. We need to understand that we are constantly signaling through our expressions certain aspects of our own self. And if we develop this human signals intelligence, the first thing we're going to be able is to be more aware of the situations, situational awareness. What is it happening in myself, within myself, and in the world around? And I think that this is a first condition for us to be more apt into developing our way to success. And the second one would be the ability to navigate within these signals that we have, no? Physical sensations, ideas, and that's another aspect. It's like a two-leg in order to walk. The first thing in relation to the situational awareness, I would say, and first because the way I work is by using patterns of questions. We can make exercises if you want in order to have a glimpse, to have a sense of how I can build up my skills for being more aware of the situations I have. Because it's very common that people are not self-aware. We haven't got the ability or the discipline to observe ourselves in a particular situation. Emotions overrun us. If I am very angry, I get attached to the situation, I get excited, stressed up, and I express myself in ways, and I'm not really being able to see what's going on. How am I operating in life, no? Or sometimes people are not very mindful on what's going on in their own surroundings. That sometimes could be dangerous because we cannot even perceive a particular risk or threat against ourselves. For example, if you see in a public place, and this very interesting observational exercise, if we observe the people around, let's say in a restaurant or a public place, we can see that some people tend to sit in the corner of a place because that gives a sense of security. It's covering their backs. It gives a particular perspective of the world around in order to protect themselves or be ready to react on to some particular trigger or experience. Some other people can show their degree of alertness on how active their eyes are scanning the place around. When we are in a particular, and this goes to the neurological fear and flight operational modality in our brains, when we're in that mode, which is instinctual, fight or flight, we are constantly scanning very, very in a high speed with our eyes, the places around, because I'm looking for a threat. in order to react and escape or to defend myself. It's very instinctual. So we can see those signals. Those are a particular set of signals that we can see in the world around. But sometimes we don't see that in the people we are interacting. We're very engaged into ourselves, no? Too much into our own experience and not very
Yes.
aware that it has to be in a dual modality. So first thing in situational awareness is to develop the ability to observe myself and observe the world around. And for this matter, I have an exercise that maybe
Oh,
you'd like to practice at home as we
yes.
our viewers, if they feel like exploring and playing with some patterns of questions, I'm going to give you this particular exercise. This particular exercise practiced in a particular focus and with the proper time, it can be a substitute of any therapeutical approach you could ever think of. So this set of two questions, used in the right way, throughout the right span of time, can bring such a degree of healing, of understanding, of learning, that it can really be beyond what we know in terms of therapeutical or coaching processes. So this is powerful. And it is a two set of questions. One question is related to the right side of our brain, which operates in a constant flow. There is no time fixation. It's a constant experience of flow. That would be the right hemisphere of the brain. And the question is, what is happening? The ink, it's very interesting because it's a constant flow of experience. I'm experiencing. It hasn't got a beginning, it hasn't got an end. And the other question would be fixed into location and time. And now what happens? So what we need to do is whenever we see there is a situation, we immediately kind of have a moment of stopping myself in a moment. I begin to ask these questions and answer them myself. For example, I would say, and now what is happening? And I can answer myself, oh, I'm having a conversation with Roxani, which is very engaging. And now what happens? Well, I'm realizing that in this engagement, I'm practicing my English. And now what is happening? I'm creating a communication which is very meaningful at the moment. And now what happens? Oh, I feel very excited. I'm making friends with my friend in Greece. And now what is happening? Oh, I'm developing this familiarity that brings this connection with people that makes me feel like a family, even if we're far away. And now what happens? I feel one with the world.
Wow.
That would be the way to use this particular tool. It can be used in a particular sense. And now what is happening? Oh, I have to pay the rent. And now what happens? I need to check my finances. And now what is happening? I don't like to talk about money. I was told that money was dirty, it was not good.
Yes.
And now what happens? I am realizing I have a block in relation to money. And now what is happening? I'm realizing that this limiting belief makes things hard for me when I look to meet my financial goals. And now what happens? I am taking responsibility in this moment of this experience in order to change it. And now what is happening? I'm trusting myself because I know it's possible now that I know this. And now what happens? I need to make a plan in order to manage my finances with more intelligence. And now what is happening? I'm realizing that I just need to learn certain skills. It's not about my beliefs, it's about my knowledge. And now what happens? I need to take a course on Finance 101. So as you can see, from a particular situation which is meaningless, like paying my rent, I begin to develop a set of understandings on these conditions I've experienced initially, and I begin to have more awareness of the situation. And from the initial signal, which is paying the rent, I realized that I need to upgrade my knowledge about a certain subject which I thought it was a silly belief. And the belief was rooted not in a particular traumatic experience. It was just rooted in my lack of understanding of finance. So suddenly life turns easy because it's just a matter of learning something.
Yes,
So we can navigate through these questions in order to be more situational aware.
I like also the fact that this takes less than 5 minutes.
Well,
And
we
I
can
like, yeah, I mean, you
keep
can
going, keep
deep
going,
and
keep
deep,
going.
of course. But I mean, in 5 minutes, if you are decisive, if you know the tool, if you practice the tool, so you are very aware that it's easy for you. After one stage, it can take, okay, because you have the experience. That's why it took you only 5 minutes, and it looks easy, but it's not easy.
Certainly.
But yes, and also on the other hand, it is very encouraging that the solution is within us. So we know the solution, but it is to fight, to put the light, to see and to find the solution somewhere in the mind, somewhere here, right or left, or maybe both, because you use both hemispheres, brain hemispheres, and the right and the left. And what is the connection, the bridge between these two questions? Because one, it was the imaginary, the timeless part, and the left part is the more logical, the speech things. What is the small connection? What is the bridge between these two questions? But it looks that are not the same. There is difference on the structure. And what is the connection between these two?
Well, from the theory of the work I do, the basic of this knowledge, it's based upon the notion that we measure reality according to a particular moment, a definitive moment. This measurement, depending of my background, depending on culturally, some cultures are more inclined into the left operational side of the brain, no? Logical, fixed, no? Like Western world is very fixed into the left side thinking of the brain. Or maybe I don't have this ability to be creative because something happened in my life. So the idea of these questions is to motivate, to excite the neural networks that are related to both functionalities of the brain. So the idea is to bring this connection and synergy between the two hemispheres. When both hemispheres are operating in tandem, one within the other, I have a broader ability to experience life. Sometimes if I am too lateralized to the logical side of things, I'm not in connection with my emotions. My intuition is not working very efficiently. So I'm lacking the experience of a half of the potentialities in life and so forth. No, maybe I'm very creative and always absent-minded because I am making ideas and thinking on the next things, but I don't have the structure to make them happen because I haven't developed this area of my brain. So this set of questions, what are meant to do, it's bring forth the information from the perspectives that each hemisphere of the brain allows us to do. So in that sense, we are using the whole capacity of our brain to inquire about the situations we are interested for. Maybe we can do an example at home.
Yes.
I can guide you. For you at home, Roxani, and for our viewers, we just need to pick up a subject, any subject, and you can answer in silence. We don't need to share the information. Okay, The Little Prince. Perfect. And then you already chose a subject. Maybe our viewers at home have a particular situation they want to explore. It can be something mundane. Let's not go into the depths of our experience because sometimes there are things that need to be addressed in a particular way that it's not easy to do in this format. But just something mundane like The Little Prince. And as The Little Prince is happening in your case, or any people that our viewers choose a subject, just ask yourselves, and now, what is happening?
Little Prince is talking to me.
And now, what happens?
he's sharing with me how beautiful is the world and how beautiful he feels that he's next to me.
And now, what is happening?
Little Prince got a little bit worried about his rose, about his flower. I think there is some worry in his mind.
And now, what happens?
Oh, I'm going closer to him to ask him if he needs some help.
And now, what is happening?
He's letting me help him. He's coming to my arms and I embrace him and he telling me, Roxani, help me with my flower. Do something about this.
And now, what happens?
I'm going over there. I'm cleaning the ground. I'm talking to the rose and I'm saying, and I'm putting some water and I'm talking to the rose that you're beautiful. Everything is okay. No, have no worries. The little prince loves you.
And now, what is happening?
There is some relief, something, there is calmness to the rose and to the little prince. He's happy. He's happy and he's waving me. Bye-bye, Roxani.
And now, what happens?
I feel a little bit alone without the prince, but I will manage by my own. I will manage.
And now, what is happening?
I am, okay, I'm buying a ticket to go to visit the little prince.
And now, what happens?
It happens that the little prince is my son, that he's far away in Athens. This is now I make the connection in my brain. And I want to go to visit him. This is the reality.
And now what is happening?
I'm happy that he's happy and I'm also for him. Okay, there is some, as a mother, some a little bit thoughts and carried away, but I'm happy that he's happy and I feel safe and he's safe. So it's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
And now what happens?
We live happily after all.
A happy ending for a nice
happy ending. Yes.
So
yes.
what can you share about the experience of this process in the way you used it?
I like two things: the simplicity that I think that you can pick anything, doesn't matter, because if you have something, because in the beginning I said, okay, I brought the little priest because I like it, this, but in my mind it was no connection about what is worrying, what is happening inside me, and slowly with the process and your questions, you guide me, or my truth thought was revealed and exposed through your guidance and your voice, because I think it's okay. I don't know if I have done it by my own, if I will come to the same conclusion, because now you were guiding me. I don't know this. I need a lot of practice. I think I like it. It's relieving, very quick. You find out the thoughts, the worries, things that that are inside, and maybe you haven't had the time to navigate them, to find them, and it's a nice tool. How did you felt? I don't know how it is from your side that you do this to your coaches and you do this to the people. How you feel as a mentor? This is one question that I want to make.
Well, this is part of the it's part of the on where my sense of success is rooted. The experience of being able to help. It's interesting to observe that from a particular thing, as you said, mundane, like a little prince, what we realize it's the meaning that lies within that particular thing of your choosing. So you found that the little prince was really a representation of your own son. And it gave you this sense of connection with him to eventually realize that you were speaking about your own son and wanting to be with him. But also, as you said, you felt happy and calm because everything is going on in the right direction. So this brings, from my perspective, the emergence of insights. For me, it's an adventure, being able to to join in a journey of discovery with someone. It's really exciting. I'm just like a tour guide. If you want to go to the Himalayas and the Everest, I can go in the low paths as a nice hiking, or we can do the good climbing. So for me, it's just like being a tourist guide, if you may.
I like this. So how, Jorge, you can understand what is the level? Okay, now it is the format of this that were YouTube Live. Okay, but in any other case, how you understand which level I want to go? There's a discussion before with you and your coachee. How you do this?
Yeah, the logic behind this is finding the initial conditions. Initial conditions of a process will define the nature of the process and eventually the depths on how far we can get. Your choosing was something very easy to address, like the Little Prince. But sometimes when people need to have a deep process, not even coaching, clinical therapy, the initial conditions are related to a particular situation. So what I do, I first work with them with a set of, with another process that gives more information to clear the undergrowth or the background noise in order to have more clarity of the relevant, of the transcendental situation that needs to be addressed. And this is where the initial conditions for this process will be set forth. And the next is just to hold the space. My work as a facilitator is just to be able to hold space for the people to develop this process of questioning and answering. So for me, it's basically to allow the person to find the right set of information to begin the process and be able to hold the space of the experience. So depending on the nature of what we are working, the person will navigate through these questions for a long time if needed be. In my practice, I've spent half a day working with this process alone. And as you can see, you just reach from a Little Prince, a connection and insights about your son. And if we keep asking, maybe something will begin to emerge in relation to the family system. Because at the end, there is a story between you and your son, and certainly between the whole family, and this will bring forth memories, it will bring forth challenges, it will bring forth limitations, it will bring forth the whole floret of experience that goes with our family system. No? So depending on the time we have available, or the time that people want to invest in this set of questioning, it is how deep we're going to get. My work as a facilitator is to be skillful enough to allow or to help my client to find the right initial conditions. And when we find the right initial conditions, we can make this very efficient because there is less work to be done in order to find that critical aspect or critical issue that needs to be addressed. So that's kind of the strategy and the style of work I do.
Oh, thank you so much, because maybe our viewers, they want to learn more about this. I will leave all the details or the contact details about you, Mr. Jorge Carrillo from Mexico. I will leave it. Yes, on the link below, on the text of this YouTube live that we are having. I like the exercise a lot. We can practice, and we can self-investigate ourselves, our thoughts, our emotions, our bodily sensations, if we want to understand and feel what is happening for us right now in the present moment. It's good also about that you said that we can start observing the people around us, maybe when we are in a restaurant, when we are in a traffic jam, maybe when we're in a queue. And if we have the clarity, if we feel that we have clarity in mind and we have no emotional triggers or stimuli, then we can be the observer and to see what is happening to the other people, and maybe then to connect, to engage, to feel, to empathize. Because this is the point here, is the connection, is the communication, and of course, to understand the situation in order to have the clarity, in order to know how we will navigate this. Maybe it is a communication with our boss, a communication with our colleague. If we know that they are upset, they are angry, that something is happening, we're not going to push the wall. We have to calm down. We have to control, to manage ourselves. Because you said at the beginning that the people, they have this, the leaders, they have this calmness. They know their emotions, they know their thoughts, they know they have this clarity. So it's easily for them to navigate because they have the adaptability, the flexibility. The people that they have this more narrow or more, let's say, fixed mindset, let's put it like that, then there is more difficulty for them. So we have first to adjust, to find out the situation and to communicate accordingly. It's a very big, yes.
The more we are in connection, or the more integrated we are, the more able we are to use our inner resources, our mindset. But this is very important, by the way. Our mindset needs to be rooted in this potential. If we're fixed in a mindset in relation to an idea, to a belief, to a circumstance, external circumstance, it might be helpful, but might not be the right mindset, because the mindset should be the initial condition in order for us to use the best of our resources: creativity, empathy, no? The ability to adapt. So the mindset, it is the way that allows us to explore, to reach out and make the best use of these internal tools. And when they are achievable, when they are easy to be used, reachable, then the way we aim into our success turns into an enjoyment. Yeah, of course, we're going to have, like, if you are hiking in the woods, sometimes you have to climb the hill, and this hill is tiring. We need to place our foot in order to place the other, but it's part of the adventure. If there's no challenge, there's no honey, there's no substance. We need to find this, no? These challenging moments are the ones that makes us grow as well, because this potential can be refined, can be enhanced. The right mindset would allows us to explore and make use the best of our inner tools, inner resources. So certainly, situational awareness will give us this clarity, and with this clarity, this will bring forth. Definitely.
Oh, so it is like we have to start to have the situational awareness, and then through the right mindset to navigate and to adapt accordingly. So both of them, they are going together. So in order to navigate, in order to communicate, and to have to get the best results possible, then it is our responsibility, through our maturity, to be mature, to take the responsibility and to connect and finding the possible ways, because maybe it's not this way, maybe it's the other way, and to have this flexibility to adapt. But here comes one question. How then, maybe some people, they may say that, oh, why for me to adapt? This is not the right way to process things. Why not the other people to adapt? And I'm stable and strong and stay on the ground and nobody can move me. I want just to put here the essence and the power of adaptability and the connection maybe with resilience. Maybe we can do like that, Jorge.
As an exercise, for example, would you
or
like
an exercise? Yes, if you want, or otherwise, yes, we can discuss whatever. Yes.
Sure, yeah. Well, first, I think that first and foremost, we need to, and this is something that goes as a coach, as a therapist, facilitator, we need to accept that people are who they are, and we need to accept that if people want to have a fixed mindset and have a very fixed structure, so if they chose to be like that or to experience life like that, it's okay, no? There's no judgment. Certainly, people will learn from that experience. Hopefully we'll learn the sooner the better, because by the end of the day, we want to see ourselves in hindsight having a good experience in life. Some people, unfortunately, they are so fixed because something happened deeper in their lives and that needs to be sorted out, no? So hopefully all these signals are gateways even to that degree of success. Sometimes people have to be constantly facing these kind of signals in order to realize that life is telling something to us. No? It's like crashing into the wall so
Yes.
many times
Again,
to
again.
eventually and again and again and again to say what's going on, no? And now what happens? And now
Yes, and now
what's
what happened?
happening? There is this idea, and it's like the mind when we're chewing something. It's like someone said once, why do you think that the dog is biting a bone without meat, just the bone? No,
Yes.
nothing there, and it keeps biting it, biting it. It's because what it's tasting, it's the blood of its own teeth.
Yes,
This is like the
exactly.
mindset, the fixed mindset, no? Being
Yes.
chewing a bone with no taste. Eventually, we need to realize that it's not going to take us anywhere. And this is where we have to be more aware of our own experience to say, how is it that I'm doing things in a way that I shouldn't be doing them? So when things like that happen, because we are always as humans experiencing from time to time these ways, again, we need to make sure what is the signal that gives me that experience. For example, sometimes we need to face a situation and I might have a sensation in my body. Maybe I have some feeling in my, like a compressive feeling in the chest, like an oppression, or maybe something in my belly, in the stomach. Those are signals that I need to make myself aware of. I can have a fixed mindset, but that mindset will still give me emotions, connect me with my feelings, and maybe I am in a fixed mindset because that's a safe place to be. Nevertheless, I might feel a stiffness in my shoulders, if I am carrying a load, no? Those are the signals that I need to address because emotions are telling me something. Maybe this mindset works for me because I don't know better, but my body is telling me something that I need to understand. And this comes to another gateway that we can use.
Yes.
And
Yes.
it is in these experiences that we can explore what is happening inside that experience. So if I might have, and if you, our viewers, want to do some exploration as well in your house, as you as well, Roxani, if you have a physical sensation, maybe a back pain, maybe some stiffness in the neck, maybe I
Yes.
have the chest oppressed, just find that experience, that physical sensation, that it is a signal that we can use. Just realize it is characteristics. It is fixed. Does it move? Is it very tight? Is it flexible? Does it have a shape? Does it have a color? What are the attributes of that physical signal, this expression of the body that it's telling me right now something? And once I have that located, I just need to ask myself, what's inside that? And I answer, fear. And then I ask myself, and what's inside fear? Failure. And what is inside failure? I don't want this. And what is inside I don't want this? A memory from school. And what's inside that memory? Rejection. And what's inside rejection? The need to connect. And what's inside the need to connect? My love for relating with people. And what's inside that love for relating with people? Joyfulness, lightheartedness. And what's inside that? Pure energy, just beingness. And what's inside that? Love, just being myself. And what's inside being myself? Oh, I feel so good. So as you can see, we can navigate going inside the experiences of a physicality, which are related to feelings, to emotions, and we might be navigating to a set of insights or other sensations, which initially might be related to unwanted experiences, unwanted feelings. But if we keep asking, if we keep asking, if we keep asking, we're going to eventually find the core origin of that experience. And that core is related to a healthy aspect of self, a very young and very pure aspect of self. And if we reach out to that particular experience of our own individuality, we're going to find first emotional healing, emotional release. But we're going to begin connecting with these genuine aspects of our own humanity. Because we humans, just as any creature in this physical plane, are basically sourced in a spiritual energy. Whether we are believers or not in a higher power and so on, there's a substance to this universe that it is beyond thoughts, beyond emotions. It's pure power. It's pure experience, pure energy. It's a clean source of our own beingness. And that is the promise of being humans. That is the really successful way of being humans, just like Jesus Christ or Buddha. No, truth will make me free. And this is the truth, regardless of religious beliefs or knowledge. It's just pure beingness. And if we connect with this pure beingness, it is a source of health. It is a source of harmony. It is a source of learning, of adaptability. And certainly we can be more resilient. So whenever we are facing strife or difficult times, we can manage easier. We don't get fixed into a particular mindset, which probably it will defend us from those unwanted experiences, but it will be very costly. Or I can be more adaptive, more resilient, just carry on, and be fluent in the flow. And with clarity, so I will just make the best decision at the right time, which is what we all need, the right decision at the right moment. That will sort our lives immediately.
Yes, we are decisions anyway. It's time, anytime, it is our decision. I like that you say that peeling the onion slowly, you stop when you reach not a trauma, not a problem, when you reach the genuine part, the light, then you stop. Then it's the correct process. I didn't, I just now realize it, and it's so powerful because then you are clean from emotional layers that are make your shoulder heavy or stiff and things like that, and stress. And this process, you have to do it and do it and do it again, or with once, then you have the clarity. So it's no need. Then how it is the process? You do it once, you find the genuine part of your core self, and then you do again the same process. How it comes then the next step?
Yes, first we have to have the proper discernment, because if I am driving in the car and suddenly someone crosses in the street without minding the red light, and it gives me this sense of almost crashing, and my heart starts to beat faster, and probably it brings a memory of a particular experience, and then that feeling of an accident of fear rises up. So if I am driving, maybe it's not the best place to do this exploration, because I need to be mindful of what I'm doing. Please stop.
Yes, please.
Pull over. And then you can explore, no? What's inside this excitement? Oops, I almost crashed. And what's inside that? My life was in risk. And what's inside my life is in risk. No? I feel fragile. I feel fragile. And what's inside this fragility? I've had a life of pain. And what's inside that life of pain? Oh, well, my memories when I was a kid and misplaced. And what's inside that? No? And that gives us the gateways for something very deep.
Yes.
So first we need to understand that whenever I am aware of a feeling, how appropriate is to use this particular tool, because it needs to be done in a way that I will not interrupt the process. With both exercises, don't break process. Even if it looks hard, even if it might feel painful, because it might, we need to keep carry on until we break the limiting state. So first thing is, when I have this sensation, be able to say, okay, I'll take a moment of my time. Don't pass me phone calls.
Yes.
What is inside this? Anxiety. What's inside anxiety? The need to do my to-do list.
Yes, yes.
And what's inside this? Oh, I am afraid of my boss. And what's inside this? I don't like authoritative people. And what's inside? I don't like authoritative people. Oh, it reminds me about my father. And what's inside that? This day in which he told me something because I did. And what's inside that? I was overwhelmed of emotions. And what's inside that? So I was a little kid. I didn't know better. And what's inside that? Innocence. I was just being a kid. And what's inside that? I was just enjoying life. And what's inside that? Curiosity. And what's inside curiosity? Oh, a love for life. Life is exciting. And what's inside life is exciting. Oops, I'm here. So eventually what we need to do is to carry on peeling the onion to the point that we clean ourselves from a particular defining moment which got us stuck in an emotional set of structures, to the point that I will realize that I will meet myself in the here and now. That is the best signal of healing, because then I am connected an aspect from the past into the here and now. And when I am in the here and now, there's peace.
Yes.
That's the only answer.
Yes.
We want to attain this particular state of beingness. Of course, because we are a myriad of experiences, we have experienced so many traumatic moments, we have adapted ourselves ineffectively to certain situations. Peeling the onion demands a lot of situational awareness. So whenever I see that I sense that there is something that needs addressing, I can carry it. It's like a meditation. Maybe I realize that I have this feeling in my chest whenever something happens. When I meditate, I sit down, I try to trigger that particular sensation I had in my body, maybe reminding a particular moment in the day. Once I have this feeling, even if it's not very intense, this sensation, I can then begin the exploration. So it's up to our viewers, it's up to you when you feel it's more appropriate to work with this situation.
To work. But we have to reach to the end, to reach to the clear, pure core, and to clean, not to stop the process. So we have to be isolated, maybe in an area, or if we don't have time at that moment, to keep it in a meditation time, or the time alone with ourselves in our safe space, and to try the feeling, try to peel the onion, as you say, and all these the structures.
As a very important suggestion for this kind of work is just to answer whatever comes to your mind, because like sometimes we feel like we need to find the right answer to this. It's usually the first answer is the right one. Sometimes we might go to places that we would have never even imagined. Just carry on and see what's going on. Mind you, this is a session in which we're just exploring with ourselves. So let's keep this in proportion. This is just a conference, a roundtable in which we're sharing ways in how we can use these gateways to success. So just explore. If you're more curious, let me bring, you can call Roxani, you can call me. We're available on the website. So that will be a way to just follow up with your curiosity, your need for information. At the end, we're here to assist our friends in whatever the things they think it's important for them to be assisted.
Exactly. We have our website, www.wiseleaders.online. And I will leave also the link. You can see our how we can be your facilitator if there is any extra need for your leadership or your emotional intelligence and or communication. We're all here for you. And dear friends, thank you so much, dear viewers, for being here next to us as every time. Soon enough, we're going to arrange another roundtable, Gateways to Success. Jorge, thank you for being here to supporting with your tools our viewers. Thank you so much for your time.
Likewise, Roxanne, very happy to be part of this project and keep sharing our knowledge, our insights, and our experience with our viewers. It's a wonderful moment to be alive. Communication makes this exciting, this way of connecting, of learning a bit more of what's going on in the world, and certainly to be able to help people on distance. It's such a delight that it's a good way to be in connection with everybody. So thank you very much and wish you the best.
Yes, likewise. Thank you, Jorge. Bye bye, friends. See you
Thank you.
soon. Bye
Good
bye.
day. Bye
Good
bye.
day. Bye bye.